Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a little boy named Ben. Ben was an explorer at heart, always curious about the world beyond his home. He had a loyal companion, a sleek black cat named Shadow, who accompanied him on every adventure. Shadow was no ordinary cat. He was clever and courageous, his emerald eyes shimmering with mischief and wisdom. On a warm summer evening, as the sun set below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, Ben and Shadow set off on a new adventure. They walked through the meadows, fireflies lighting their way. When they reached the edge of the forest, Ben noticed an unusual trail of giant footprints. Each print was the size of a dining table, leading into the depths of the woods. Ben's heart raced with excitement. "Shadow, do you see these?" Ben whispered, crouching beside one of the enormous footprints. Shadow meowed quietly and rubbed against Ben's leg, as if to say, "Let's follow them." They ventured into the forest, where towering trees created a canopy that turned the moonlight into silvery beams. The air was filled with the sounds of crickets and the rustle of leaves. Ben and Shadow followed the footprints for hours, as their surroundings grew more magical with each step. Eventually, they arrived at a hidden valley surrounded by majestic mountains. In the center stood gigantic stone structures that Ben had never seen before. They looked like ancient temples adorned with intricate carvings and mysterious symbols. But what truly captivated them were the giants. The giants stood as tall as trees, their skin glimmering like stardust. They moved gracefully, tending to vast gardens and caring for ancient temples. Despite their enormous size, their movements were gentle, their gaze profound. Ben and Shadow watched the scene in awe, hiding behind a large boulder. One of the giants noticed them, appearing to be the oldest among them. His beard was long and thick, his eyes kind and sparkling like stars. "Who goes there?" he asked in a voice like distant thunder but carrying a warm tone. Ben stepped forward, holding Shadow in his arms. "My name is Ben and this is Shadow. We didn't mean to intrude. We're just curious explorers." The eldest giant smiled. "Curiosity is the beginning of wisdom. Welcome here, young ones. My name is Orion. What brings you to the land of the giants?" "We followed the footprints," Ben explained. "We've never seen anything like this before, and we wondered about the secrets it holds." Orion nodded thoughtfully. "The secrets of this land are ancient and precious. They're revealed only to those who earn our trust and show respect for our traditions. If you wish to learn, you must first understand." Ben felt a wave of determination. He promised, "We will do our best to earn your trust." Orion gestured for them to follow him. He led them to a grand temple with a massive door. Upon entering, Ben marveled at its beauty. The walls were covered with shimmering crystals, and the floor decorated with intricate mosaics depicting the history of the giants. Orion showed them a large book with golden pages. It was the Book of Secrets, containing the wisdom and knowledge of the giants. But it could only be opened by those worthy of it. "To prove your worth," Orion said, "you must complete 3 tasks that test your courage, kindness, and wisdom." Ben and Shadow nodded eagerly. They were ready for the challenge. For their first task, Orion led them to an orchard of ancient trees with sparkling leaves. He explained, "In this orchard lives a creature causing trouble. You must find a way to help it and restore peace." Ben and Shadow ventured into the orchard, where they found a small frightened creature with tangled fur and sad eyes. It was a peculiar being, scared and alone. Ben knelt beside it, speaking gently. "Hello. We're here to help you. What's your name?" The creature sniffled. "I'm Tangle. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just want a friend." Ben smiled kindly. "We can be your friends. Let's untangle your fur and find you a home." With Shadow's nimble claws and Ben's gentle hands, they carefully untangled Tangle's fur. They found a cozy hollow in one of the trees where Tangle could live. The creature, once anxious, was now happy and at peace. When they returned to Orion, he praised their kindness. You have completed the first task. Now on to the second. Orion led them to a vast garden where a storm had uprooted many plants. He said, "Your task is to restore this garden. This will test your bravery and perseverance." Ben and Shadow set to work immediately. Ben used his small hands to replant flowers and trees, while Shadow dug holes and fetched water. The storm had caused significant damage, but they did not give up. They worked tirelessly, even through the night, until the garden was beautiful once more. Orion was impressed. You have shown great bravery and perseverance. Now on to the final task. He led them to the top of a mountain overlooking the valley. This last task will test your wisdom. At the peak of this mountain is a rare flower that only blooms once a century. It is key to understanding our ancient secrets. You must find it and bring it back. Ben and Shadow began their climb. The path was steep and rugged, but they encouraged each other along the way. Cuando llegaron a la cima, vieron la rara flor. Estaba resplandeciendo con una luz etérea tenue.